Fellow auto detailers, welcome to the show that features interviews with today's most successful auto detailers. This is the Auto Detailing Podcast. Here's your host, Jimbo Balaam.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast, and a very Merry Christmas to you if you celebrate Christmas. If not, Happy Holidays. How's that? So this episode is a very cool episode from someone, or with someone rather, that has recently taken the jump into full-time detailing at a shop. Little mobile action going on, but mainly a shop. So it's really cool, and I actually did this episode via anchor.fm, which is just another, a different platform that I started putting the podcast out on. But what it really enabled me to do was to take advantage of recording as I was, it's kind of a cool story. I was actually picking up and delivering a car for a customer who found me via the interwebs, and I was doing a coating on her brand new car. So I had, there's about a 45-minute drive, and I had planned to record an interview with Jon that same day. And I said, you know what, because I'm mildly obsessed with being efficient and effective, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to take advantage of this 45-minute drive and also try out this new platform that is anchor.fm to see if I can actually multitask and take advantage of this 45-minute drive. And it actually worked, so I pulled it off. So really cool, really interesting story with Jon. Jon, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, I appreciate your time during what was seemingly a really busy time for you, even though we approached the holidays, so I appreciate that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode with Jon. Of course, I would invite all of you to check out the Detailer Inner Circle. Guys, this is really a passion project for me, and if you're serious about growing a profitable detailing business, I'm accumulating multiple courses, giving you a free website, tons of training, my Google AdWords training, Facebook ads training. We're going to be doing Instagram training as the new year rolls around. I have my course, How to Start and Grow a Profitable Detailing Business, Detailing for Profits, just a ton of stuff. I'm really working on building up this monster and wrapping it all into this thing called the Detailer Inner Circle. So if you're interested in growing your business, taking your business to the next level, or just starting your detailing business, or if you would enjoy 2 additional podcast episodes per month, because that's what we do. I give away 4 podcast episodes for free every month, once a week. Sometimes that works out to 5 a month. But I also do 2 additional podcasts that the only way you can access those is if you are in the Detailer Inner Circle. So if you're interested in 2 additional podcasts per month, along with all that other stuff I just mentioned, hop on over to detailerinnercircle.com. That's detailerinnercircle.com. And I hope to see you guys on the inside. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Cool. Let's do this. So welcome to this episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. I'm Jimbo, your host. And today we have a special episode. It's actually a first. And Jon, after 300 episodes, it's hard to get a first of anything, right? But this is the first time I'm inviting you into my mobile recording studio and doing this remotely instead of in front of all my stuff. And so I appreciate you kind of working through some of we didn't actually have any technical difficulties, which is amazing. There was a couple, an app that had to be installed on both our ends and stuff like that. But I appreciate you. I'm hoping the sound quality is good on both our ends. You sound good to me, but we'll see in post edit. But a big thing for me is being efficient. And so I'm trying to be efficient with my time. And like I was telling you, Jon, had about a 45-minute drive ahead of me. So I thought I'd take advantage of it and record a show. Well, anyway, Jon Petitt, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jim. I feel like I've made it.
Well, I'm glad I can offer that feeling.
Yeah.
So give us a little bit of background on you, what kind of detailing you do, because I look back through our messages and we had some communication with each other a while back, but I'll be honest, and it's not because it's just you. I try really not to do much research on anyone I interview because I want to ask fresh questions and I don't want to get stuck in asking kind of the same questions that have been asked of people over and over and over. So outside of a little bit of interaction that I think we had earlier this year, I don't really know much about you. So why don't you take a little bit of time and tell us about you?
Sure. First of all, I owe a lot of my success and like to you, Jimbo, in your podcast because I've listened to many of your episodes, and these episodes that you've done have both inspired me and discouraged me at the same time. As in discouraged, as in like, am I getting over my head here? And then encouraged to get something going to make that jump to like, to exceed and excel. And
Right.
It all started like many other detailers in your podcast where, they said that there was just that first car that they had, and they wanted to take care of it. So I started cleaning the interior out before I knew really what interior detailing was. I cleaned the dash, gave it a vacuum with what I had access to. And then a couple of years go by, and I get married, and now I have to provide for my family and whatnot. So my uncle at the time was working at an auto auction house, and I'm like, oh, how cool! I get to play with cars and drive an array of cars all day. Heck yeah, let's go detail some cars. So I did that for years, and I started in the interior detailing pit. And then I moved over to polishing. And you guys want to talk about a stereotype? The stereotype is true, where they give you a rotary buffer with a yellow heavy cutting pad on it, and said, "Here, have fun. By the way, don't hold the buffer in one place for too long." So to make a long 2 years short, I burned through some paint, and I learned how not to burn through paint.
Seems like the best possible training.
Right.
I mean, I thought it was a good idea to say, go to a junkyard and get some panels, but man, because essentially you were getting paint.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I took it as, is like, oh, this is really cool. And then, my boss at the time, he had bought a car from the auction for a couple of $100. He let me kind of run crazy with it. He goes, "Here, you detail this." I'm like, all right. So I turned it around for him. I buffed it all out. I did the interior, and he almost he ran it through the auction when he was done, and he doubled his money. So I'm all like, hey, maybe I got something here. And I went and talked to him. I'm like, hey, look, I'm thinking about doing some detailing on the side. And my boss was, that kind of a-hole where, he was straight up honest with you. And he looks at me and goes, "I think that's the next best step for you." And I'm like, really? Like, yeah, this is awesome. And then there was this lady that started maybe like a month ago. And she goes, "Yeah, I've been thinking of..."
The phone, repeat that last part. The phone cut out a little bit. What did the boss, because I think it's an important part.
The boss said, yes.
What did the boss say to you?
This is the next best step for you. So I'm like, this is awesome.
Got it.
And
then,
and this...
Because he was actually being nice when he's normally a dick? Is that what it was?
Kind of shocked, like, oh, this is awesome. I got the support of my boss.
Got it.
And there was this lady who just started about like maybe a month ago. And she's like, yeah, I've been thinking about the same thing. And he looks at her and he goes, "You might want to learn how to detail first."
So it was a huge compliment that he said that you were ready to go. So that's great. Okay, a little reassurance.
2 years. And after that 2 years, I left that job because it was only 2 days a week. And I went to a full-time job with my dad in a metal foundry. But I didn't stop learning. I found some YouTube channels, and I kept trying things, kept learning, kept going, and like kind of trying to hone my skill, without actually going to any classes or anything, because those are expensive. and so I did stuff mobily. I met a guy who's a friend of mine now, and he owns a pulling and plowing business where, he rented this big old shop.
Okay.
And he goes, "Look, man," he goes, "if you want to, use this space," he goes, "you're more than welcome to, leave your chemicals here, leave all that stuff here. I don't mind." So I blew it off for a year or two, but then like 1 year I said, "Yeah, let's do something." So I moved in, and prior to this, I was kind of doing something mobily, which mobile and kids do not work. Because for me to go on a job, that
Right.
means I have to unpack 2 car seats, and then load
Right.
load
Yes.
the SUV product, go to the customer's house and unload, do the job and load back up, and then go home and unload to load back up my kids. Right.
Ginormous hassle if
Right.
you're
So
using the
then
same car.
I
Right.
got into his shop, and it was lovely. It was heaven. So many outlets. It was air conditioned, heated. It was the best place to detail. I am
And
Southern
where are
Wisconsin.
you at in the country?
Yep.
Okay, got it. So yeah,
Yep,
winters and summers, deep
I'm
into
in a
each
little town
season
called
probably isn't
Whitewater.
ideal.
We're a little college town, about 2 hours from Chicago, 45 minutes from
Cool.
Madison. But so
Okay.
then I got used to that. I was like, oh, this is so nice. But then the landlord or his lease didn't kind of work out, and so he didn't renew his lease, and I'm like, oh man. So packed it up, and then I went back to mobile, and then fast forward a couple of years, I'm dating this wonderful woman. Her name is Araceli, and I took her on a job with me, and she's all like, wow, I kind of like that. I'm like, cool. And then
Wow.
she was kind of like, hey, maybe we should get a shop. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't know if there's enough clientele for that. It's a small town and all that. Well, another thing that I got from your show is you're as busy as you want to be. So
Right.
then we signed. We ended up getting the. We found out that the detailer that was in town was moving out, and that shop was going up for rent. And it's a 1930s gas station,
wow.
so we got 2 bathrooms outside, is 2 bays.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yep, it's a
That's
old
like the
Texaco gas
ultimate.
station, and it is cool. But we're like I said, we did sign the lease in January, and we started going in February. But so I left the foundry. Actually, got fired from the foundry. They thought I was working on my car, which I wasn't. But I wasn't going to argue with them because I wanted out anyway. And then I went to a body.
Right. Yeah, it seems like the timing has just been
It
ideal
was
on
really
everything.
weird. I think, I don't know. I'm not a very religious man, but I think God was pulling for me here. Because I got a job at a body shop for 8 months. And I'm like, well, this is perfect because I'll be able to hone my skills on some fresh paint. And, yep. So I was
Totally
demibbing, they
perfect.
call it, which is taking the debris out of the clear coat, sanding it down, buffing it out. And I also picked up how to do bed liners.
Wow.
I also picked up how to do a little bit of alignment, and I did that for 8 months, and then finally, so it's about August now, and then I put in my 2 weeks notice. I'm like, look, I gotta go. I need to be my own boss now.
So you had the shop for 8 months before you were really there even full time?
Because
okay. Wow.
Yep,
So was your girlfriend running it for you, or how was that?
The plan was for me to leave my job a lot earlier, but what ended up happening is she ended up getting let go of her job because they were downsizing. So she would come here and run the shop, but she was also helping me take care of my boys. But what happened is that she got let go first, so she'd go home, take care of the kids, and meanwhile I'm at this body shop, kind of like dodging the managers, answering phone calls like, hello. Just
right. You're like in the bathroom. You're like, sorry, I'm not in the bathroom. That's just a weird echo. I don't know why that is.
Trying to, because I'm taking all the phone calls because she's scared. She doesn't know a lot, but she knows. And, so finally I was able to, and it was really weird because we did 3 months of radio at that time, and they listened to the radio station that my commercial was playing on. So,
oh my gosh.
So that got
That's
weird
funny.
for a minute, but I put in my 2 weeks there, and then I came here and I just started running with it. I started full steam ahead, and all of a sudden we're booking out a week out, and it was really weird because I would have one appointment that week, and then by Wednesday, Tuesday, I had the full week booked out. And I mean, we were just like,
that's incredible.
Just chugging. And finally I switched like from a previous, I guess, Californian company I didn't, not many people like. But I was using a lot of their products, and then I switched over to Optimum because I do like the way Optimum is set up. And I became an Optimum Pro coating installer, and we just been putting the floor or pedal to the metal, and just trying to get out there. And I do have a weird tip for you though. Trick or treating.
Let's hear it.
It's what we do in the States here. I took my kids out trick or treating, and then every house that we went to, I gave the owner a business card, like, hey, I also detail cars, here you go. And it actually turned out to work. One of those people were like, oh, yeah, you gave me one of your cards on Halloween. I'm like, yeah, right.
Interesting, because you're going to the house anyway. It's like being efficient with the time in the car. It's like you're being efficient with your time. You got to go trick or treating,
right?
It's like, well, why not try to double dip?
Door to door. You get a little candy and you give them a card.
Yeah,
fear trip.
Right. Right. It's going door to door, but almost guaranteeing that someone's going to answer the door and talk to you.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
That's awesome.
And for someone that doesn't have kids, they can put business cards in their kids'
Right. You can hand out the candy. What kind of services were you doing in the beginning? Because your story, though common, is still extremely difficult, right? Like, to make that jump to a shop and have that overhead, a lot of guys are wanting to do that. And I think a trap could be like maybe the lower end services, but what were your first initial services? And has that changed?
Yeah.
Has that changed now?
It has. And I mean,
what has that looked like?
I started off, what I did is I'm like, okay, I called around all the body shops and like detailing services, like in and around and out of my area, just to kind of get a ballpark. And I found out a body shop was charging $100 for a full detail on a car. So I'm like, okay, that's my mark, $100 for full detail. And I'm talking about whipping out the buffer and everything.
Right.
So fast forward to when I opened up the shop. I mean, I didn't have the price structure I do right now, but I was charging about $130 for a full detail, which, like, okay, then I was like, okay, well, like, that doesn't work. We're still just scraping bottom of the bucket here. So I found the funny thing is like Google's detailing menu on the Google, and I found a detailing price list, and I'm like, okay, this kind of fits like what we would need to make a minimum of to get by. And I kind of took and engineered it and kind of put my own spin on it. And now I'm charging about $150 for a full detail, which is a hand wax and the full interior. So and then I charge around $200 for like a one-step polish and the full interior. And my polish has like a sealant built into it, so I'm kind of protecting it, giving it a little bit of gloss at the same time. So and
that's amazing.
What? And I was going to say,
go ahead. Sorry.
Right now a lot of the people that are in this town here, we get gold is fair, pretty common. And I do get a little sticker shock, but it's not much. Most people are like, oh well, that ain't bad. That's pretty reasonable. I'm like, yeah. You want to hear about the coatings that? Yeah, right.
That start at $1,000. They'll make this look really cheap. So is the coating market a little bit slower there, or
do a lot of education? A lot of coating talk. Like, I got these pamphlets, and I like, look, here you go. And I've actually had one guy, and I told him, like, look, this coating here is going to start at like, north of $1,200, and he's like, whoa, like that might be too much. He goes, but that pro that the one that starts about 800 to 1,000. He goes, that sounds good. But I'm like, look, go on YouTube, search it. Here's a pamphlet of information. He came back to me. He goes, I want to do the Pro Plus. So that was a fun experience on a BMW series.
Nice.
And,
what advice would you give to someone who was in your shoes really just a year ago? It seems like timing has played such a key role in your life over and what's interesting is this episode's going to go live right about the first of the year. It may even be New Year's Eve that it goes live. So.
We got you back? Did we lose you?
About a year.
We almost had you.
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. Okay, cool. Little delay, but no worries. I'm driving, so the service is constantly changing. So you'll have been in the shop right about a year. What advice would you give someone that is close or in your exact shoes as you were, say, a year and a half, 2 years ago, really wanting to make that jump into a shop? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say research, is kind of the big thing right now, is like, go look at what, shops are in your area. Find one that you can outgrow, that you plan to outgrow, because it, like my shop here is great. I mean, it's a 2-bay shop. We're getting the work done.
Right.
And then the second thing is you're busy as you want to be. If you want to take it slow, take it slow. But if, you want to take it fast, push for it and it comes.
Right.
Just, one of the first things I did is I went to the dealerships and said, hi, my name is Jonathan. I'm from Attention for Detail. And this, we do offer wholesale rates for dealerships as long as we can maintain a relationship. And they said, fine. And then I went to the other dealership in town, and they were like, which it's a Chevy dealership. And I went and introduced myself. And what's funny is I actually applied to become a detailer there before the body shop. Now, fast forward to about a week ago, we just did our first truck for them. And what was really funny though is they came to me and said, hey, this truck's been already cleaned by our guy. I'm like, great. And they're like, but he missed this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I'm like, okay, I can fix that. So we got in all the different crannies. I gave it a nice polish job, and they said, wow, you want to come back with me? I got another car for you. I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow. So they just had to taste it a little bit, and then
and so
we
sold. Went back and got another car for them. Meanwhile, the other dealership is dropping off cars. So we were kind of bouncing back between them, and we get a car done, and they get so we got one car for the Ford dealership done, and we got to bring back another one, and then we got halfway through the Chevy cars, and they said, hey, how's that car coming? I'm like, we're about halfway done. They're like, great. We have another one for you. It has to be done by Saturday. We're like, I'm like, okay.
Oh my
what about this guy? They're like, don't worry about that. I'm like, okay. So we did this big SUV, and like I said, we were just jumping back and forth between all these dealership cars
and trying to squeeze in retail work.
Yep, I had 2 Platinums coming in, which take me about 6 or 7 hours to knock out, and we were.
Wow. Do you have any employees now, or is it just you and your girlfriend still?
We're trying to grow this organically. Like, I don't want to get in over my head by bringing in employees, especially
Smart.
This is the winter season now, so I don't.
Yep.
To be honest, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we have work now. We have work for the week, but I don't know what's going to happen next week. I don't know what I just don't know what's going to happen yet. So, and then
And it helps though to have those dealers because, and I know a lot of people talk down about dealer work, but really, even if you're getting less money and you can make it work for you, I mean, some money is better than no money, so, and it's a steady flow. The trade-off is the steady flow of work, so I always encourage guys to like, hey, try to make, do something until it doesn't make sense to do it anymore, so like, if you were full blown packed a month out with retail work, I'd probably be like, hey, maybe don't worry about the dealer work too much. But it sounds like the dealer work is a super good fit
and
for
like
you
I said,
right
we're a small college town. Half of our population moves away once summer hits. So, but like we still have people coming in, and like I said, I'm not just targeting the Whitewater area that I live in. I'm trying to target the town over, the surrounding areas. Not only that, but me and a couple of friends of mine who are also detailers created like a detailer alliance where, like for the state of Wisconsin. So it's like, oh, well, if I can't book you in here, hey, I know a guy, he might be in the next town or two over, And
right.
Yeah, those are a couple of things
super
like,
cool.
Like I've picked up from your show here. It's like, that's awesome, trying to work with other people.
Totally. It could really help out. There's no reason to be, I don't know. I just always think there's no reason to be an ass. You never know who other people know, or could do for you or help you.
That is the truth. I mean, like I just had a farmer come in and we did his truck and he was just all like, wow, this is great. And all of a sudden we have his kids coming and we're like, hey, we got that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
You just never know. You never know. Well, that's awesome, man. I am almost to my destination, so I appreciate you. Well, first and foremost, I appreciate you coming on the show, but I really appreciate you making my commute a little bit more enjoyable. I feel so strongly that there's going to be so many people that want to kind of either pick your brain or maybe in your area that want to even join that detailer alliance or anything. So if people want to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you if they're in the Wisconsin area? How can they come by and maybe check out the shop? Sounds like an awesome place. How can just people find out about you?
We have a website. It's attention4detail.com. And that's because attention to detail was taken. But, and then our phone number, our address is on there. So if anybody wants to reach me, they can.
Awesome, man. I love it. I'll link that up in the show notes. And any last remarks or words you want to tell the people? Oh, love that. You had that ready, queued up.
I heard it a couple days ago, and I'm all like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, that's my new life motto. Make yesterday jealous. I love it, man. Well, thanks for taking the time. I appreciate it. And it sounds like you might have a couple cars you need to get back to.
But actually, it's snowing right now. And I have a friend of mine who I help plow. So, I told him,
hey, there you go.
I might be slow in the winter, so I'll help him plow to make a little extra money. So.
Heck yeah. You definitely got that hustler mentality, man.
Keep going.
Got to keep going. Right on, John. All right. Well, again, I appreciate you taking the time and all the kind words you said about the show. I'm glad to help out, and I hope this episode continues that, and I hope people reach out to you and tell you how inspired they are by your story.
Like I said, this podcast has been a huge help, and
cool, man.
I have a feeling I'm not the only one that's pushed and help.
I appreciate it.
All right, thanks, Jimbo.
We'll talk soon.
All right, guys, thanks for listening to that episode of the Auto Detailing Podcast. Hope you really enjoyed it and were inspired by John's story. I really, really appreciate all you guys who listen, and I really appreciate John, again, for taking the time, and then for the kind words that he said at the front of how this podcast has really helped them, which is encouraging to me because this podcast was built around other people giving back to the industry, and I just wanted to talk to them about it. So I feel honored that I was able to
and I am able to play a small role in really helping other people's businesses succeed. And we're seeing a ton of that too in the Detailer Inner Circle. So I encourage you guys to join Detailer-inner-circle.com. Like I said, I'm really pushing a ton of effort, energy into that, delivering 2 extra podcasts a month if you want to be kind of on that inside loop. And really, if you want to stay on the cutting edge of kind of some marketing tactics, if you want to learn from other people in the group, other detailers across the world, because it's really a worldwide audience. Anyway, I just encourage you to check it out, Detailer-inner-circle.com. There is a monthly fee to join, but there's no contract, no commitment, no long-term commitment. You could pop in for a month, pop out, no big deal. Guys are really getting a ton out of it. So hope you guys will join me over there, Detailer-inner-circle.com. If not, have a Merry Christmas, even though you're probably listening to this after Christmas. Happy New Year. Can't wait for 2018. Here we go.